Imagine, it's 1922. The air in Egypt's Valley of the Kings is thick with dust and anticipation. For years, archaeologist Howard Carter had been searching for one thing: the lost tomb of the boy king, Tutankhamun. Most experts believed there was nothing left to find. They were wrong. After chipping a small hole through a sealed doorway, Carter peered inside. His financial backer, Lord Carnarvon, anxiously asked, "Can you see anything?" Carter's legendary reply, "Yes, wonderful things." Those three words kicked off one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of all time. What Carter saw was just the beginning, a glittering antechamber piled high with treasures untouched for over 3,000 years. Golden chariots, intricate furniture, and statues of otherworldly guardians. But this wasn't even the main event. This was just the welcome mat to a much deeper mystery. Today, we're pulling back the curtain and stepping inside King Tut's tomb, uncovering the secrets that lay hidden for millennia. What really happened to the boy king? And what can his treasures tell us about life and death in ancient Egypt? Let's find out. Tutankhamun, often called King Tut, ascended to the throne as a mere child, around the age of 9. He ruled during a tumultuous period in Egyptian history. His father, the controversial pharaoh Akhenaten, had completely upended centuries of religious tradition, declaring that Egypt should worship only one god, the sun disk, Aten. This was a radical move that threw the entire kingdom into chaos. Priests of the old gods lost their power, temples were closed, and the capital was moved to a new city in the desert. When young Tut took over, his primary job was to restore order. He moved the capital back, reopened the old temples, and brought back the worship of the traditional pantheon of gods, especially the powerful god Amun-Ra. His name was even changed from Tutankhamun** to Tutankhamun** to reflect this shift. For about a decade, he reigned over a healing Egypt. Then, suddenly, at around the age of 19, he died. His death has been a puzzle for centuries. Was it murder, an accident, a mysterious illness? This is one of the biggest secrets his tomb helps us unravel. Now, let's go back to Howard Carter. After cataloging the incredible items in the antechamber, his team found another sealed door. Behind it was the burial chamber itself. The sight was breathtaking. It was almost entirely filled by a massive golden shrine, but it wasn't just one shrine. Inside it, like a set of Russian nesting dolls, was another, then another, and another. 4 gilded shrines in total, each more magnificent than the last, protecting the king's final resting place. After carefully dismantling these shrines, a process that took many months, they finally reached the sarcophagus. It was carved from a single block of quartzite, with protective goddesses carved on its corners, their wings outstretched to guard the king. Lifting the massive, multi-ton lid revealed not one, but 3 coffins, again, nested inside each other. The first 2 were made of gilded wood, but the final, innermost coffin was the real showstopper. It was crafted from over 240 pounds of solid gold. Imagine the moment they first laid eyes on that. Pure, glittering gold, shaped into the likeness of the young king, holding the crook and flail, symbols of his royal power. When they finally opened this last golden coffin, they found the mummy of Tutankhamun himself, adorned with the iconic golden death mask. This mask, now one of the most famous images in the world, is an artistic masterpiece. Made of gold and inlaid with semi-precious stones like lapis lazuli and quartz, it wasn't just decoration. For the ancient Egyptians, it was a vital piece of funerary equipment meant to protect the king's spirit and ensure his face would be recognized in the afterlife. But the real secrets started to emerge when scientists began to study the king's body. Initial examinations in the 1920s were quite basic. Later, X-rays in the 1960s showed a bone fragment in his skull, leading to a popular theory that he was murdered by a blow to the head. For decades, this was the leading story: a young king, killed by a rival who wanted the throne. It's a great story, but modern science tells a different tale. In 2005, a team of scientists used a CT scanner to create a detailed, 3-dimensional image of Tut's entire mummy. This was a game changer. The CT scan showed that the hole in his skull was likely made during the mummification process, not by an assassin's weapon. So, if he wasn't murdered, what did happen? The scans revealed several clues. First, Tutankhamun had a number of health issues. He had a clubfoot, meaning he would have walked with a limp. This is backed up by another discovery in his tomb, over 130 walking canes and staffs. These weren't just symbols of authority, he probably needed them to get around. DNA analysis also showed he had a severe form of malaria, the deadliest strain at the time. Plus, the scans revealed a badly broken leg, a fracture that occurred shortly before his death. The break was severe and showed no signs of healing. So, the modern consensus is a less dramatic but more scientifically sound theory. A young king, already weakened by genetic conditions and suffering from chronic malaria, suffers a terrible accident, breaking his leg. The open wound gets infected, and in his already compromised state, his body simply can't fight it off. Sepsis sets in, and the boy king dies, not from an assassin's blow, but from a tragic combination of poor health and bad luck. The tomb also held secrets about Tut's beliefs and his journey to the afterlife. The Egyptians believed death was not an end, but a transition. The tomb was essentially a launchpad for this journey. It was packed with everything a king could possibly need in the next world. There were beds to sleep on, chairs to sit on, and even board games to pass the time. He had boxes of clothes, jars of wine and honey, and preserved cuts of meat. One of the most fascinating finds was a set of miniature coffins containing the mummified remains of 2 fetuses, his stillborn daughters. This personal tragedy, tucked away in his tomb, offers a rare, humanizing glimpse into the life of a king who, despite his divine status, experienced profound personal loss just like any of us. Another incredible item that points to the advanced knowledge of the Egyptians is a special dagger found wrapped in the king's mummy bandages. It has an ornate gold handle, but its blade is made of iron. This was the Bronze Age. Iron was incredibly rare, more valuable than gold, because the technology to smelt iron ore hadn't been developed yet. So where did this iron come from? Analysis of the blade's composition revealed it had a high nickel content, a telltale signature of iron that comes from meteorites. They called it iron from the sky. This dagger wasn't just a weapon. It was a celestial artifact, connecting the pharaoh to the heavens and the gods. But why was Tut's tomb so small and seemingly rushed compared to other pharaohs? That's another secret. The tomb is more the size of one for a nobleman, not a king. The paintings on the walls, while beautiful, show signs of being completed in a hurry. This all points to his sudden, unexpected death. There was no grand royal tomb ready for him. So, the theory is they had to quickly adapt an existing, non-royal tomb for his burial. This haste is actually what saved it. Because it was small and unassuming, grave robbers of the ancient world likely overlooked it, focusing their efforts on the larger, more obvious royal tombs nearby. The boy king's rushed funeral became his ultimate protection. Over 5,000 artifacts were found in those for small rooms. Each one tells a story. From the grand golden chariots to the simple, worn walking sticks, they paint a picture of a king who was both a divine ruler and a vulnerable young man. The discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb didn't just give us a treasure trove of gold. It gave us an unprecedented window into a lost world, allowing us to understand the life, the beliefs, and the death of a pharaoh in incredible detail. The wonderful things Howard Carter saw are still telling us their secrets 100 years later. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey into the past. If you enjoyed exploring the secrets of King Tut's tomb, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's greatest mysteries. Let me know in the comments which artifact from the tomb you find most fascinating. See you next time.